We are saying goodbye to a lot of plants. Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. I've got Saffron here with me today and she is being absolutely adorable. And unlike her, some of my houseplants are not so lively. So today I'm going to be having a plant funeral. I'm going to be saying goodbye once and for all, having a little bit of postmortem analysis on a bunch of houseplants that did not survive the year. They're not going to make it to 2026. I'm going to be talking about whether or not I want to try again with these plants or if I just want to say goodbye forever, because throwing away plants is therapeutic. Even though that is not the point of plant collecting, sometimes these plants can get a little bit too stressful. They don't behave the way that we want them to, and despite our best efforts, they die. And sometimes it's not really anything that you did wrong. I know throwing away plants can be controversial. Some people believe in trying to save a plant until the very end, and that throwing away a plant is a waste, but sometimes it's just not worth the effort, and it feels a lot better to throw away the plant and make room for plants that will behave better in your environment. Because while some people might be great at growing anthurium, others might not. I tend to do best with Scindapsus and Hoya. I do have a few other genuses in my collection, but there are some dead Hoya here today. So there's just quite a few plants. Saffron is being extremely chatty. Yes, I know, honey. I'm gonna let her go and we're gonna talk about some of these plants that have died and say goodbye once and for all. This first plant was one of the first to go. I think it died back in May or June, but I don't quite remember. And this is actually my second attempt at growing this plant. This is a Hoya Houseplants albo, or it was. So may this plant rest in peace, but whew, this has been a very difficult plant, obviously, for me to try and grow. And I don't know if I'm gonna try it again, to be honest. I love it. I love albo variegated plants. I love the albo margins. It just hates me. No matter what I do, this plant absolutely hates me. The roots were so good on this plant too, and it just died. I tried growing it in multiple different environments, and it was very unhappy until the bitter end. So I'll be saying goodbye to this plant for once and for all, and judgment is still out on whether or not I want to try again with this one. This plant was tough. It was doing pretty well up until this year, and it suddenly took a turn for the worse. This was a philodendron Jose Bueno, and it is very dead. Just like the last Hoya, this plant is so dead, and I don't really quite know what went wrong with this one. It might have been a victim of neglect while I wasn't here for a while and was dealing with other things. So unfortunately, this one is gone, and I don't think I'll be buying this plant again. I did get it as a very small plant, and I was really proud of how I took it from this little starter baby plant all the way up into a 4-inch pot. But yeah, it's a lot of work, some of these philodendrons, when you get them really small. I always fantasize about the big, beautiful philodendrons that I see, and for some reason, I was buying a bunch of them when they were small, and that takes so much time and effort to get them bigger. And if I were to buy any philodendrons in the future, I would like them to be a bit more mature. The last one I bought was a Mexicanum, and I actually got it for like $5, but it was really big already when I bought it. So that is the direction I'm going to be taking with philodendron in the future. And knowing that I'm going to be moving in about a year, I don't see myself buying a Jose Bueno anytime soon. Maybe one day I will buy a nice big one, but not when I'm about to move. So unfortunately, my collection is going to be without this plant for a little while. It was really pretty. I really enjoyed having it, but it just kind of fell to neglect, unfortunately. I have another Hoya here, and this one really hurts because I bought it while it was still slightly expensive. It's still got the price tag on it for $60. This was my Hoya Wilburgrave Silver, and I'm not too sure what happened with this plant. And I even tried propagating it. I took a couple cuttings. It was coming back for a while, and then last month it decided I'm done with life and it just died. I don't really know what went wrong, especially when I have other Wilburgraves in my collection and they're doing really well. So this was really unfortunate. I love Wilburgraves and I love Silver Hoya. So this was a perfect plant for me. I do think eventually I will be buying another one of these. I don't think they're quite as expensive now as they were when I bought this 2 years ago, but it's still really sad. I really enjoyed having this plant in my collection, and it's just not gonna be here anymore. I'm not gonna be in a rush to replace it because I'm not actively looking for too many plants right now, except for variegated Scindapsus. I will never say no to those. But other than that, I'm not really actively seeking out plants. Watch, you'll see a video in like 2 weeks that I bought a plant, but I'm not trying to. It's not on purpose right now. So this one will be on a little bit of the back burner. I will be replacing it eventually because I do think it is a plant that I will be able to take care of with relative ease. I'll probably buy a bigger one. When I bought this, it was only 1 node. So if I buy one that's a little bit of a more established plant, or maybe this was 2 nodes. Might have been 2 nodes, but still, it wasn't very big. So in the future, I'll be looking for a bigger one. I'm very sad that this one died, but I'm not sure what I could have done to prevent it in the moment. So RIP, this was a really pretty plant and I'm very sad that it's gone. This plant just hurts personally that it died. And unfortunately, this is just what happens with anthuriums when you don't have the time for them. So this was my original Anthurium crystallinum. I'm only really sad because this was my original anthurium and it was doing so well for so long until it just wasn't. And that combined with everything that happened this year, I wasn't able to really be on top of rehabbing it like I would have been if I had nothing going on, but I had too much going on, and it's still got a green stump, but am I gonna try to propagate an anthurium from nodes? No, I'm not even that good at growing anthurium in the first place, so and it's kind of wrinkly, the stump, so I think it would just get moldy and die, to be honest. That happens a lot with like thicker nodes, I've noticed. When you try to propagate them, they just tend to get really moldy and then they die. So I am not gonna be trying to revive this, and I probably won't be replacing it for a very, very long time. If I get anthuriums again, it'll probably be 15 years from now. So yeah, right now I'm not gonna replace this. I am really sad. I mean, crystallinums are cheap, so I guess I shouldn't say never, because if I were to replace an anthurium, it'd probably be this one. But for now, absolutely not replacing this plant. But I am very, very sad that it's dead. Here lies what was a Philodendron El Chaco Red. Now, I did chop this up. It lost every single leaf it had. It was so funny. It was just like this pole. It was right along the pole, and it was just a stick, a green stick with no leaves left. So I did chop it up, hoping to propagate it, but this is a difficult plant. I mean, people warned you. It's all over the internet how difficult this plant is. Like, everybody will warn you about it. And I do think my mistake was, again, buying a smaller El Chaco Red, but I wanted this plant so bad. I think it's so gorgeous with the velvety, pillowy leaves. But again, it looks really gorgeous when it's big and it's beautiful and it's full and it's happy. So I wouldn't recommend buying a small one of these. I will not be replacing this anytime soon. I don't have any desire to do that. This is another plant that maybe in like 15 years, when I don't have to worry about moving, I have time. I'm not gonna have time for 15 years. So yeah, this is not gonna get replaced. It is really sad. I do think it's a beautiful plant. I didn't own it for very long. I wanna say less than a year, but it's just not doing it. So this is dead. This down here is dead. So RIP. This is a very difficult plant. I don't know how this plant has survived. I don't think it would survive natural selection in the wild, to be honest, because everything I've heard about it is it's so difficult to grow. And I agree. It's way too difficult for someone who doesn't have time to spend all day with their houseplants. So RIP to this one. You're really pretty for like the few months before you started losing leaves, and I will not be replacing you. I would like to add a little honorable mention plant yet. It's not dead. So that's why I don't have a gravestone for this one per se, but it's on its way out. And I'm trying to rehab it. So that's why it's kind of an honorable mention. This is my Hoya Lee or Lai, and this plant hates me. I don't know why, but every plant that I've gotten that's like Hoya Lee, LYI, absolutely hates me. I'm usually really good with all different types of Hoyas. Not this one, not at all. The leaves are just so wrinkly, like it's dehydrated, even if I've just watered it. And I do have the no ID one that lost all of its leaves but one all of a sudden and just hates life. So maybe this is not the type of Hoya for me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with this one. I did take a couple of cuttings because it was bigger. It was growing on this trellis and it was doing fine, and then it wasn't, and it's never not been wrinkly since. So if you do have any advice for this specific plant, I'm happy to take it because I'm not throwing this out at the moment, but there is a very likely chance if I don't get my act together with this plant, it will be in the trash. So I am looking for some advice on this one. Hopefully I won't have to have a little gravestone for it, but if you never see this again, I probably killed it. This one's quick because it was just a cutting, but this was a very sad Matilde splash. I have lots of Matildes. I think I have 3 right now, and one of them was like 3 plants combined. So I'm not really missing out on this plant dying, but just shows that not all of your propagations work out, and they die sometimes. It's just how it is. I will say, going through this is very therapeutic. It is actually so, I don't know why, it is so satisfying to just be rid of some of these plants that have been problem children and to just throw them out. I have a trash bag, I'm just gonna throw them all in it and be done with it. It's actually really, really nice. We are almost through all of the plants that I have killed. It's more than I was expecting, but you know, life happens and they're all replaceable. They're just plants at the end of the day. Yes, I would love to not kill them, but one of the things that it took me a while to realize the first few years I was collecting is that killing plants is a part of this hobby. They are living things. It's not like some of my other hobbies like Pokemon cards where you don't really have to worry about them dying on you. It just happens with plants. Sometimes you end up buying one that's kind of sickly, or you get pests, or you get behind on watering. So many things happen and it's totally okay. It doesn't mean that you're bad at growing plants. I just think it's good to normalize these things because they happen. And this has all happened. This is not just all at once where I just killed a bunch of plants. This has been over probably the past 6 to 9 months. So it's not like I'm just terrible at growing plants and killing them all the time. I've just been kind of collecting them in a corner because I haven't really known what to do with them. I haven't had time to deal with them. And this is my little send off for them. And I thought it'd be really funny to do it as a plant funeral. So I hope you're enjoying that little humorous bit of it. But yeah, I'm not just constantly killing plants. This has been because 1, this year was very crazy for me in a lot of different ways. And 2, it's been over the course of probably 9 months. Here lies another anthurium, and it's just, yeah, I have like 4 anthurium left at this point. Over the past year, I've lost most of my collection of anthurium. It is what it is. It's very sad, but they are not the plants for me. I have learned I cannot keep them as happy as I'd like to. I'm not as attentive with plants as anthurium need. I don't have super high humidity, so I would have to be more attentive, and I don't have the energy to be humidifying an entire room right now. So this happens. This was a crystallinum crossed with Ace of Spades. It was a gorgeous plant. I'm sure it's on my Instagram somewhere, but yeah, it's dead. It's been dead for a while. I think this one's been dead since April or May, but it's sad. This plant tried its best, but at the end of the day, it just, it didn't work out. So RIP. I will not be replacing it, like I said, with my anthurium. Not really looking to buy any for quite some time, especially since I will be moving every 2 to 3 years for quite a while. I don't think anthurium are gonna do too well with that. When I move, I will see how the anthurium I have do, but I don't anticipate they're gonna do very well. Finally, last but not least, I have a plant that is actively dying, which is great. This is my philodendron silver stripe. And this is a sad plant, isn't it? This is, oof. Yeah, I wanted it to be like climbing up here, so I kept trying to do that with the vines. And I also wanted some trailing. I thought it'd be really cute, bushy plant in my window. And it just never was super happy. Luckily it was only $5, so I'm not too mad about this. I might try to propagate some of these nodes because I have kept it watered, so it's not like it's wrinkly or anything. Try and get a cute bunch of cuttings out of it, but yeah, I'm not really too pressed about throwing this one out. It was just always kind of gangly looking. And I will be replacing this at some point. I do love Philodendron Silver Stripe. I have a Rio and I love that as well. I just love Hartley Philodendrons. I think they're great climbing or trailing. They're really nice full bushy plants, but given how cheap this plant is to obtain, of course I'm gonna replace it. And typically they're pretty easygoing. I think this is the first Hartley Philodendron I've ever really killed. So yeah, it's sad because I had high hopes for it. I thought it was gonna be a really nice decor piece, but I'm also not really worried about it because again, it's $5. I can easily go get another one tomorrow and that'll be fine. I'll have to, in the meantime, find something else to put in this cute little hanging basket, but it's not the end of the world. And I think I will find another one that's probably bigger and bushier and I'll be just as happy with it. So that's it for this plant funeral. I feel like I've given these plants a proper send-off and it was very therapeutic. I can send them on their way to rot and not think about most of them ever again. There are a couple that I would like to replace, but it is good to have the space in my plant room again. For plants that are doing better, I have more room to up-pot some plants now that these are gone, so I'm gonna look at the positives of this. And I have learned that I am not an anthurium girly at this point in time, and that's okay. I can admire them from afar. I do think they're beautiful, but maybe in the future I'll have them, but I will focus on the plants that are doing well in this plant room and keeping them happy. If you like this video, make sure to give Saffron and I here a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here on the channel and all of our actually healthy and not dead plants here. Thanks again for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.